All right. Just some preliminary information. Do we know the author of this psalm? We don't. Do we know the occasion of the writing of this psalm? No. He says out of the depths, so it's obvious that there's some trouble, but name the one person in the Bible who was in trouble. There's all of them, right? So we're not sure. Well, let's look at then some of the specifics of this psalm, some of the key words. What are some of the words that you notice? And again, we're just doing this because it kind of clues us into what the psalm is about and some interesting things. Dan? Yeah, there are a few words that are repeated. Wait or waiteth, redeem, redemption, iniquities. Those are some words that we see over and over again. Yeah. Terry? Forgiveness and mercy. Yeah, those are some great words. Did you know that that word forgiveness is the only time, and the word attentive, it's the only time it's found in the book of Psalms. The word forgiveness, the only time it's found in Psalms is in this psalm right here, this time. Yep. So forgiveness is a good one. Mercy. Hope. Yeah, we see that one in Psalms a lot, but it's such an important word. Hope. Yeah, good. Anybody else? Yeah, it's a very personal psalm. We see the word Lord. It's really addressed to him. And did you notice there's two different kinds of Lord here? Some of them are Lord, capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D. That's Yahweh. And the other one is Lord like Master, which is Adonai. It's a different word. But both the ideas there are that God and that he's your master are there. Good. Any other things you notice about key words? I put as the key words for this overall, cry and wait. So, all right, well, let's read it again then. Notice some of those words as we're reading through it. And then we're looking for sort of a theme or sort of a summary of this. Do I have a volunteer to read it once again? Dan? All right, good. So now that you've done the study already, but what would be a good theme or a good kind of summary that would sort of summarize it in a way that wouldn't be the same as every other psalm? You know, we're saying there's some distinction here. What do you think? Seth? Yeah, your only hope and redemption is from the Lord. Good. Yeah. Russ?
God wants to forgive the worst.
God wants to redeem the worst of sinners. Yeah, good. Anybody else? Cheryl? Yeah, just quoting that part of the psalm, my soul waiteth for the Lord. Yeah, good. Good. I put I usually do like 3 different ones just so I'm kind of understanding it and stuff, but I put the call and response of the Lord because I see he says, I will do this, you do this, I will do this, you do this. So there's a little bit of prayers answered. So I put the call and response of the Lord. Anybody else? Okay. What's the tone of this psalm? What's the way it should be read? Dan? Pleading. Yeah. Yeah, how else are you supposed to do it when you're in the depths, right? No one's ever like, excuse me, I'm in the depths here. I fell into this volcano. Could you please help me? Yeah, pleading. Yeah, Russ?
Similar, I see it as a kind of anguish, yet with hope.
Oh, anguish, but with hope. Yeah. Yeah, I put contrition and lamenting, kind of pleading. Yeah. Yeah, Sarah? Pleading and patience. Yeah. Yeah. I really need help, but I'm willing to wait on you for it. Yeah. So again, we're seeing this theme of waiting. We see that. There's a cry and there's a waiting. Yeah, good. Anybody else? Deep sorrow. Yeah, there's definitely a tone of sorrow here. And there's hope, but there's also sorrow in it. Yeah. Good. So what do we learn about God in this psalm? What are some things, how does this add to our understanding of who God is? Psalm 130. Dewey. He's holy and just. Okay? All right. Anybody else? Yeah, Russ.
My God has amazing mercy.
Yeah. Yeah, so Psalm 130, especially like verse number 3, is a great soul-winning verse, isn't it? If thou, O Lord, shouldest mark iniquities, O Lord, who shall stand? What a great verse. Now, again, it's only great because you have the good news. But it's good to memorize this verse and to know it, to be able to say, if God punished like he should every sin, who would be left? Who would be there to stand? But of course, we know that God is great in mercy and forgiveness, and he talks about that in verse number 4. But that's one of the things we know about God. We learn about God from Psalm 130. Yeah, good. Anything else that you noticed about God as you were doing your study, thinking about the Lord? Yeah, the word hope at the end, where we're talking about kind of patience, you wouldn't be patient with God if you didn't think he was going to show up. He will show up, so he's faithful. Yeah, good. Good. Anybody else? Sarah.
There's forgiveness with him, so we do well to wait confidently on him.
Yeah.
Because there is forgiveness, so we know that and confidently wait for him.
Yeah. It's not a hope like this, it's a confident, because there is forgiveness with him. Yeah, imagine all those poor people who, sacrificed all these things, their last sheep on the altar, or even in some cultures, their son, with just maybe the hope that their God would hear them. And we know he doesn't need all that, and with him there is forgiveness. He's much more willing. He's the one calling out to us. If we want forgiveness from God, it's only because God's been reaching out to us first, right? So yeah, good. Anybody else? Amy. Yeah.
So there is waiting for sometimes a long time, but we don't wait hopelessly. And we find that in his word.
Yeah. Yeah, we know his promises. We know he will show up, and so we're waiting with expectation. But it is tough for us to wait sometimes. Yeah, good. So how might this psalm be helpful in your life? We've maybe answered this, but what's the situation where you're like, this is a Psalm 130 moment. This is what I need, Psalm 130. What's going on where this would be really helpful in your life? Dewey.
Like the old hymn, trust and obey. There's no other way.
Yeah. Good. Amy. Yeah. Yeah. It's that recognition of I am in the depths. I'm not getting myself out of this. And sometimes the depths are because of my sin. So, yeah. Yeah, I think this is a great psalm. One of the commentators I looked at said this is one of the 7 penitent psalms. And I don't know if there are 7 or not, but there are, not that many. But this is a great one for, how deep do you want your repentance to be? God has the same forgiveness for all sin, but when you realize it and you wait on it and it comes, how much sweeter it is when you realize you're in the depths. Yeah, good. Anybody else? Yeah, Christy. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because it seems like when he really got saved, he understood the depths of his sin, and yeah, we're just so happy that the just shall live by faith. He didn't have to climb the stairs to the Vatican on his knees anymore. That's what it was, right? Wasn't he like he was doing all that stuff trying to get to heaven, and when he realized it came by grace, I think he was really grateful. Again, not that he got everything right, but Cheryl. Yeah. Forgiveness and redemption. He doesn't just bring us from a negative to zero. He brings us to the positive. There's redemption as well. Good. Good. All right. Well, let's read it one more time, and then we'll sort of see if we can gather. And it's hard when these short ones, but I think I'm going to guess we're going to find a lot of agreement with some of these things. So somebody want to read it one more time, and then we will look for an outline and a good verse to memorize. Dewey.
Psalm 130. Out of the depths have I cried unto thee, O Lord. Lord, hear my voice. Let thine ears be attentive to the voice of my supplications. If thou, Lord, shouldest mark iniquities, O Lord, who should stand? But there is forgiveness with thee. Thou mayest be feared. I wait for the Lord. My soul doth wait, and in the word I really hope. My soul waiteth for the Lord, more than they that watch for the morning. I say, more than they that watch for the morning. Let Israel hope in the Lord, for with the Lord there is mercy, and with him is plenteous redemption. And he shall redeem Israel from all their iniquities.
All right, thank you. What would be a good way to talk about the way this psalm is structured? Zach.
Verses 1 through 3, the plight of the sinner. Verse 4, forgiveness is of God. Verses 5 and 6, patience of the penitent. And verses 7 and 8, corporate redemption of Israel is also inevitable.
Yeah, good. Very good. Very good. Yeah, good. Dewey.
Pretty much the same as that. 1 and 2, urgent prayer. Zach said 3 and 4, forgiveness of God. 5 and 6, patience. And then 7 and 8, hope and mercy.
Very good. Yeah, good. I had something similar. Verses 1 and 2, I cry. Verses 3 and 4, you forgive. Verses 5 and 6, I wait. Verses 7 and 8, you redeem. There's kind of that call and response. Good. Russ.
1 and 2, my sin has caused me deep anguish, therefore I will call out to the Lord. 3 and 4, even though I am guilty before God, he offers forgiveness. 5 and 6, wait on the Lord, for his redemption is as sure as his word. 7 and 8, God promises redemption to his people.
Yeah, good. Good. And with these, so notice in like verses 1 and 2, you have the words voice or cry, right? So those words are kind of together. And then in verses 3 and 4, there's iniquity and forgiveness. In verses 5 and 6, there's the idea of waiting. And in verses 7 and 8, there is the word redemption. So even, it's just right there in the text, those things. And I know that whoever wrote this, David or otherwise, didn't put the verses on there, but when the people who wrote put the verses in, Theodore Beza, whoever, looked at this, like, oh, there's a thought, there's a thought, there's a thought. So there's something to that where we're kind of tracking with that, and so the verses are kind of helpful. Now in the next one, in Psalm 131, I actually broke one of the verses apart when I was doing it, but there's only 3 verses, so what are you going to do? All right, anybody else have an outline or kind of a way to look at this psalm? I've had some good ones so far. Dan.
1 and 2, pleading to the Lord. I kept verse 3 by itself, the Lord's righteous judgment.
Mm-hmm.
4, 5, and 6, fearing and waiting on the Lord.
Good.
7 and 8, the Lord offers mercy and redemption.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. And there's a gospel here, isn't there? That's just kind of the way it goes, you know? You realize you're a sinner, you cry out, he forgives you, he redeems you. Yeah. Good. Anybody else? Yeah. I also put the cry and the waiting, the cry, verses 1 through 4, the position, the depths, the cry, hear me, the problem, sin, the cure, forgiveness, and then the waiting on it, the position, waiting in verses 5 and 6, and the hope is redemption, verses 7 and 8. So, all right, then what would be a good verse to memorize, either for yourself or just for something that might be, just a good reason to memorize?
You said it already, verse 3.
Verse 3 is a great soul-winning verse and a good one for us to remember, right? Verse 5, okay. I wait for the Lord. My soul doth wait, and in his word do I hope. That's good. Yeah, that's a really good one. I could see that one on a wall somewhere. Number 5? Yeah. Yeah. I put 4 as well. Yeah, I like that one. There is forgiveness with thee that thou mayest be feared. It's a good verse. Yeah. 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 There's something about that when you realize how much sin God forgave just in my life. I mean, not even the sins that he's forgiven other people, but just when you think about that, what else? I mean, what other reaction can you have except reverence and awe? Wow. There is forgiveness with thee. If you forgave me, wow, you have a lot of forgiveness. More than I have. Yeah. Anybody else? Anything else then? Just a general, anything you noticed or anything you wanted to bring out about this psalm? Again, this isn't so much teaching and preaching. It's more just like we give you the tools to look through it yourself, to examine every little part, and from the minute, from the minor to the major, from the in the forest to over the forest. And hopefully, again, some of these psalms you just come to love. I didn't even realize that was in there. But man, Psalm 130, what a great psalm.